Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of Mongolia, a land of vast steppes, nomadic warriors, and a legacy that forever changed the world. We'll journey from its ancient roots through the rise of one of the largest empires in history, all the way to its modern-day role on the global stage. This is the story of Mongolia, a nation forged in hardship and defined by resilience. Long before the legendary Genghis Khan, the Mongolian steppes were already teeming with life. They were home to nomadic tribes with a rich and diverse history. Imagine skilled horse riders, expert hunters, and fierce warriors, all living in a delicate harmony with the land. Their survival depended on their ability to adapt to the harsh, unforgiving conditions of the region, and they didn't just survive, they thrived. Archaeological evidence paints a fascinating picture, showing that these early peoples were part of a larger nomadic culture that stretched all the way across Central Asia. Over thousands of years, they were shaped by powerful empires and cultures, including the mysterious Scythians, the formidable Xiongnu, and later, the influential Turkic Khaganates. These early tribes weren't just isolated nomads. They engaged in trade, conducted raids, and fought wars with their neighbors, including the settled civilizations of China. But due to the vast, rugged terrain of the steppes, they remained largely independent, a mosaic of proud, self-reliant clans. But then, everything changed. In the 12th century, a young leader named Temujin was born into a world of chaos and division. The Mongol tribes were fractured, constantly at war with one another. It was into this turmoil that Temujin emerged, a figure who would go on to unite these warring tribes and create one of the largest land empires the world has ever seen. His early life was anything but easy. After his father was poisoned by rivals, his family was cast out, left to struggle for survival on the unforgiving steppes. He faced betrayal, capture, and near-death experiences. But these hardships didn't break him, they forged him. Temujin's relentless ambition, his magnetic charisma, and his sheer military genius began to win him followers. He built alliances, starting with his own Mongol tribe, and then expanding his influence, drawing more and more clans to his side. By the year 1206, after years of strategic maneuvering and brutal battles, Temujin had accomplished the impossible. He was crowned Genghis Khan, a title meaning universal ruler. His leadership was revolutionary. He promoted people based on merit, not on their family name or social status, and he implemented a strict legal code, known as the Yasa, to maintain order and unity within his rapidly growing empire. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongols unleashed a military force unlike anything the world had ever witnessed. They were master horsemen, able to ride for days on end and shoot arrows with deadly accuracy from the saddle. Their military tactics were revolutionary, often relying on deception and speed. They were masters of psychological warfare, using tactics like fake retreats to lure enemies into traps and then overwhelming them with lightning-fast raids. Their discipline and coordination were unmatched. From the windswept steppes of Mongolia, Genghis Khan's empire exploded across the map. They conquered vast territories with astonishing speed, toppling powerful empires like the Khwarezmian Empire in Persia and the Jin dynasty in northern China. Their armies pushed west, reaching the edges of Eastern Europe, sending shockwaves across the known world. The Mongol conquests connected the East and West like never before, creating a vast network of trade and communication. This era, known as the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace, allowed for the safe passage of goods, ideas, and technologies across continents. The Silk Road flourished, and knowledge from gunpowder to paper money spread from China to Europe. After Genghis Khan's death, his empire didn't crumble. Instead, it was divided among his sons and grandsons, who continued the expansion. His grandson, Kublai Khan, famously conquered the rest of China, establishing the Yuan dynasty and moving the capital to what is now Beijing. He welcomed travelers like Marco Polo, whose accounts gave Europeans their first real glimpse into the wonders of the East. Other Mongol leaders ruled over Persia as the Ilkhanate and over Russia as the Golden Horde, their influence lasting for centuries. However, managing such a massive, diverse empire was a monumental challenge. Internal conflicts and succession disputes began to weaken the Mongol Khans. The empire, once a unified force, eventually fractured into four separate khanates, each facing its own internal and external pressures. The Black Death, which spread along the very trade routes the Mongols had protected, also played a significant role in their decline. By the late 14th century, the mighty Mongol Empire had largely dissolved, with local dynasties rising to reclaim their independence. But the Mongol legacy was permanent. They had redrawn the map of the world and reshaped the course of history. Following the collapse of their global empire, Mongolia entered a period of fragmentation and relative isolation. The once mighty nation turned inward, facing internal strife and pressure from powerful neighbors, especially the rising Ming dynasty in China. For centuries, various Mongol factions vied for control, a shadow of their former unified glory. By the 17th century, most of Mongolia had fallen under the influence of the Manchu-led Qing dynasty of China. This period, lasting for over 200 years, saw a significant shift in Mongolian society. Tibetan Buddhism, which had been introduced earlier, became the dominant religion, and a more sedentary, monastic lifestyle began to replace the purely nomadic traditions for many. This era preserved Mongolian culture, but also kept it politically subordinate. However, the spirit of independence never truly died. When the Qing dynasty finally collapsed in the early 20th century, the Mongolians seized their chance. In 1911, they declared independence, and after a complex struggle involving China and Russia, they established the Mongolian People's Republic in 1924, becoming the world's second communist state. For the next 70 years, Mongolia was a close satellite of the Soviet Union. This period brought modernization, industrialization, mass education, and healthcare, but it also came at a great cost, including the suppression of traditional culture and religious freedom. Then, just like the rest of the world, Mongolia was swept up by the winds of change in the late 20th century. Inspired by the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe, a peaceful democratic revolution took place in Mongolia in 1990. Young people took to the streets, demanding political freedom and reform. Remarkably, the transition was swift and bloodless. Mongolia adopted a new constitution, held its first multi-party elections, and embraced a market economy. It was a rebirth for the nation. Today, modern Mongolia stands as a vibrant, democratic nation, a true oasis of democracy in a challenging neighborhood, nestled between Russia and China. It is a country that is working hard to balance its ancient nomadic heritage with the demands of a globalized world. The capital, Ulaanbaatar, is a bustling city where modern skyscrapers stand alongside traditional gers. The economy is largely driven by its vast mineral resources, but the country is also looking to diversify into areas like tourism and technology. Mongolians are fiercely proud of their history, their democratic values, and their unique cultural identity. From the ancient tribes of the steppe to the global empire of Genghis Khan, through centuries of foreign rule and communist control to its modern democratic revival, the story of Mongolia is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It's a story of a people who have time and again adapted, endured, and carved their own path in the world. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through Mongolian history. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the histories that have shaped our world. Let us know in the comments what piece of Mongol history surprised you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.